Well, thanks everybody for joining. Let's just jump in like Ross said. For everyone that doesn't know me, my name is Taylor Freckleton. I am with Fusion Imaging out of Utah. I recently joined the board of the Northern California chapter as the vice president. And as many of you know, NorCal and SoCal did join over the pandemic so that we could continue to provide the industry with relevant information effectively, as we were shorthanded and things. So before we begin, I did want to provide a few updates on some upcoming events for the California chapter. July 15th, we're having an in-person happy hour in Laguna at the Rooftop Lounge. Really look forward to seeing everybody in person, being able to network and meet new additions to our industry, and mainly just see how everybody's been doing over the last year and reconnect. If you haven't registered yet, I would suggest doing so because we do have limited spots and they are filling up. I know Natalie and Emma, both from the Northern California board, are flying down to participate as well. So it should be a well-attended event. And then as far as the Northern California event, the first one we have on the calendar is August 19th. So save the date. That will be a happy hour similar to the SoCal event. Location is still yet to be determined. So if you're interested and you have any cool spots or any suggestions on where you think would be a good location, please don't hesitate to let us know. We have revamped, obviously I'm new, and we have revamped the entire board this year and starting fresh. We're looking at really providing valuable experiences. So we really encourage people to come to this happy hour in August so that we can kind of bounce some ideas off each other and kind of see what gaps need to be filled and what educational events we'd like to see. Yeah, so with that being said, Brian does have a hard stop, so I do want to turn the time over to him. Brian Yost is, I'm really excited to have him join us today. He's the Chief Operating Officer at the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. He's going to talk to us about World of Concrete services and Waste Expo, how those events went, as well as regulations and trends he's seeing in Las Vegas since the pandemic. So I'll turn the talk over to you, Brian.
Thanks very much, Taylor. And I just want to throw it out there. I'm always happy to accept happy hour invitations, and I'm a big fan of Laguna. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And thanks very much to everybody that's taking time away from what is undoubtedly important and busy stuff to spend a little bit of time together. A couple of notes. I'm going to chat about what's going on here in the destination, what's been going on, what we've got coming up. Would encourage you to ask questions, whether it's through the chat feature or when we get through with this. And it's designed to be very casual. So that said, we'll get started. And I'm going to start with a little bit of research. So back around January, February timeframe, the LVCVA went out and did a poll of about 510 respondents in the meetings industry. And we simply asked them, okay, what are you thinking about virtual business versus in-person events and face-to-face interactions? Seems intuitive. We expected to hear folks, particularly in our industry, say, yes, we want to be back in person. We heard that overwhelmingly. 91% of the people we spoke with said they missed face-to-face interactions, they missed in-person events, and they had it with Zoom or any other hybrid or digital events. 77% responded they would prefer attending meetings and events in person in the future. 74% interestingly indicated they believe Las Vegas is prepared to safely host in-person conferences, conventions, and trade shows immediately. 33% see Las Vegas as the destination best prepared to safely host in-person business conferences, conventions, and trade shows. And what's interesting is 18% was the next highest city, and I'm not going to say what city that was, but nearly double the level of confidence in the destination. So the good news associated with that is for all of you who do business here in Las Vegas, we're back. We are on fast forward, if you will. We were chatting a little bit before everybody joined. We're back with a vengeance, and we're going to take a look at that here. This is a chart. We work a lot with a few different analysis groups. This came to us via destination analysis or best destination analysts, excuse me. And it's a very simple chart, but very powerful. What it says is,
hello.
Hi. What it says is 80% of the folks who were polled in this poll are ready to get out and traveling again. That number, as you can see, has varied over the course of the pandemic. It is continuing to climb and continuing to climb exponentially. We then looked at U.S. travel and tourism, and we broke it down business and leisure. And thanks to the folks at Tourism Economics, we asked the question, so tell us about what your thoughts are on business travel and leisure travel. And the bar chart you see here shows that in 2019 being the benchmark at 100%, or with 2019 being the benchmark, folks are feeling better about both leisure and business. The expectation is leisure travel will be back to the 2019 level. Now, this is across the country in 2022. And what folks said, and again, this is a national snapshot, is they expect business to be back or almost back to the 2019 levels in 2024. I'm happy to say we are seeing our results kind of outpace this in both business and leisure. And here's what the Las Vegas tourism indicators look like. This is as reported through May. We'll shortly be releasing our June statistics. The graphs across the top, what's most important to note there is the blue line with the dots in it and its continued upward trend. The red line represents the year we all want to forget, 2020. And the purple background represents the base year of 2019. And as you can see, whether it's in hotel occupancy, ADR, RevPAR, or room nights, the four things that are most important to us here at the LVCVA, we are seeing consistent and steady growth back to the 2019 levels on a month-over-month basis. We look at that in a little bit of a different chart down below, where you see we pegged visitor volume against hotel occupancy, ADR, RevPAR, et cetera. This chart also shows that the comparison to the benchmark year of May 2019 continues to ameliorate, to the extent that if you look at something like ADR, we're only 10 points below where we were in May. Interestingly, the drive traffic to the destination, with the exception of a few months early in the pandemic time, has been pretty strong. And that drive traffic, as you can see, is actually outpacing the 2019 benchmark months. So here's a little peek of what's going on. And if you've been to Las Vegas recently, you may have seen some of this. We have got some really cool new resorts and attractions going on. If you haven't been to Circa, it's the first ground up integrated resort built in downtown Las Vegas, AKA Fremont Street area, in well over 10 years. It consists of 777 rooms. It's got an incredible 3-story sports book. That area you see in the kind of foreground of the photo for Circa is its 3-tiered stadium swim area, which is an incredible state-of-the-art 6 swimming pool, amazing video wall destination in and of itself. Resorts World opened on June 24th. Was a $4.3 billion project built by the Genting Company out of Malaysia. They have 3,500 rooms that they've added to inventory here in the destination. Those rooms are, they have 2 Hilton branded products in that inventory, and they also have a proprietary high-end product that is a Genting product in many of their properties. The resort also has a 5,000 capacity theater that will be opening very soon, and about 250,000 square feet of meeting and banquet space. Opening to really solid reviews, great quality space, as you might imagine, with a $4.3 billion price tag. Not a whole lot of corners were cut. Virgin Hotels opened in what was the Hard Rock space on Paradise, just off the Strip. It added back into inventory the 1,500 rooms that were taken out when the old Hard Rock closed. It also added about 50,000 square feet of meeting and convention space and a 4,500 person capacity theater. The Virgin property is also a Hilton portfolio product. And Hilton has been very smart, or these resorts have been very smart, I guess I should say, in partnering with Hilton, because they've driven quite a bit of the Hilton frequent guest programming into the destination. So it's worked very well both for the flag and the resorts. And then there's the Msg Sphere. The Msg Sphere, when it opens, projected in 2023, is going to change the face of entertainment here in Las Vegas. It's a 17,500 seat, very high-tech venue. When it opens, it will have the largest and highest resolution LED screen on Earth. It stands 366 feet tall, which is over half the size of the Venetian, which is next door to it. And as I said, it's expected to be open in 2023. It's about a $1.8 billion project, and it is intended to be a multi-purpose, multi-use space. The operators indicate that they'll use it for everything from keynote speeches to feature sporting events, concerts, conferences. The state of the technology that is going in here is about as cutting edge as it could possibly be, and is designed to be flexible enough to handle that wide array of events. But Las Vegas is also about live events, and we are very proud to be the home of the NFL Draft in 2022, the NFL Pro Bowl in 2022, PBR is coming back, Electric Daisy Carnival's coming back, and our very own Life is Beautiful Festival is coming back. All of these events are driving significant demand for both venues and for obviously hotel rooms and everything that goes with it. And this is just a smattering of those things that are coming back. You may have recently heard that we have signed a deal with CONCACAF, which is the Caribbean, North American, Central American Soccer League, to do a huge game with them next month. We've got some tentpole concerts coming up with the likes of Garth Brooks and others at the brand new Allegiant Stadium. So the demand is strong and continuing to grow. Part of our responsibility at the LVCVA and as a destination is to continue to invest in the industry's future. You know, Las Vegas as a leisure destination is, for all intents and purposes, sold out on weekends. We rely very heavily on the meetings and conventions business to fill those critically important midweek hotel rooms and to fill that critically important meeting space. I think you all know this, but I feel like I have to include it. Las Vegas hosts 42 of the top 100 trade shows and has been the #1 trade show destination across the United States now for 26 years. It's pretty exciting to have that honor, and it's something we don't take lightly. So let's talk about what's been coming back. I know Taylor mentioned World of Concrete. So Informa was our first big show back to the destination with their World of Concrete product. It went exceptionally well. They were, Informa, the meeting organizers, were very, very pleased, not just with the new West Hall. Hard not to be pleased with a $1 billion exhibit hall, and we'll talk about that in a second. But equally as pleased with the readiness of the destination, readiness in terms of um, staffing levels in resorts, availability of taxis, Ubers and Lyft. We struggled a little bit with, but frankly, that's come back almost to pre-pandemic levels as well. The size of the event was actually, the organizers were pleased with it, but it was a fraction of what it would have been. And there are three primary contributing factors to that. So as you may know, World of Concrete is traditionally a late January show. So this June show was out of cycle for them. They felt, though, it was critical to get back to work, in part because they wanted to have a show, in part because they needed to show the industry that it could happen and it could happen safely. So it was an off-cycle show. They are still doing their show here in January of 2022, and their show floor sales are very strong, seemingly not impacted by the off-cycle 21 June show. And they planned the show in June during a time that is a peak business period for concrete and masonry. So they knew they would have a reduced attendee base. They also rely pretty heavily on international, attendees and exhibitors. And in the absence of that, knew that they would take a hit there. All that said, they were very pleased with what they ended up with for attendance, what they ended up with for sold exhibit space. And it kind of set the tone for coverings where they had very similar results, both in terms of the flawless execution of the show, but also in terms of the attendee numbers, the exhibit numbers, and the feedback from attendees and exhibitors. And that's an important part. One of the things that everyone has been concerned with is, what are the attendees going to say? Are they going to feel comfortable? What are the exhibitors going to say? And every show that we have had back since reopening here in June has had nothing but positive feedback from both of those constituents. Barrett-Jackson came in on the heels of World of Concrete and had what they've called one of their top shows. It's traditionally been held at the Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas version has. It moved into our new West Hall, as I said, on the heels of World of Concrete. They had very strong attendance level and sold through their roughly $46 million worth of inventory. Waste Expo, another Informa show, has been in and gone. They were in our legacy facility, our central and north halls. Again, scaled back in part because of international attendance restrictions. But again, rave reviews. And interestingly, we've asked all of these shows, so how's it been working with your general contractors? What about your EACs? Any issues with staffing, timing, or anything that would be impacting the ability to execute your shows? And by and large, each of the show organizers has come back and told us, whether it's been general contractors or pick a category, security, decorator, whatever, electricians, there have not been any significant issues related to timing. So delivery timing, none of those kinds of things that I think people were scared of, frankly, nor have there been with staffing levels. It's no secret, like all of you, the destination is struggling to find enough people to do the jobs, but it seems as if that struggle has been lessened, at least in the meetings and industry, the meetings and conventions group industry, to an extent that it has not been visible by the show organizers. Aesthetics and Beauty was in, another gangbusters show for them. They were very pleased with the results in terms of attendance and exhibitors, as was Nightclub and Bar, both Questex shows. Questex very pleased with the destination in general, and certainly with the performance here at the convention center. And then just recently, we had the ability to host USA Volleyball. It was the Junior Girls National Championships. It was 1,300 teams, tens of thousands of screaming 11 to 17-year-old girls. For those of you who have girls in that age, wow, you're saints. My eardrums are still recovering from the screaming, but it was wonderful to have the business. Represented about 50,000 room nights to the destination. Part of the continued investment in the industry here in Las Vegas has been across all of our partners. And there's an interesting statistic on this sheet. So we, during the pandemic, primarily 2019 to 2021, we'll say, the destination grew from 11 million square feet of meeting and convention space to 14 million square feet. That 3 million square feet that was under construction here is more than most destinations have in total for meeting and convention space. So I think that goes to show Las Vegas's commitment to the industry. The Wynn opened their 20,000 square foot event pavilion and lawn, which has become a very hot destination, both for social as well as meeting events. Caesars Forum opened its 550,000 square feet of space. Very high end, very high tech meeting and convention space, great level of appointment. World Market Center opened 315,000 square feet of indoor space and a 50,000 square foot outdoor plaza that they are using both programming for their tenants as well as a meetings and convention destination. And as I said, Resorts World opened with its 250,000 square feet of space. And all of that is in addition to our new West Hall. Our new West Hall added 1.4 million gross square feet of space to the destination. And we're going to talk about how that breaks down. That's the glamour shot you see on the screen. But before we do that, I'm going to let you take a peek at the process of building it. Makes it look so easy, doesn't it? We are exceptionally pleased with the results that we've gotten. Oh, didn't mean to subject you to it again. Here are some of the photos, and I'll kind of walk you around clockwise. The top left corner. So if you've not been here, you're not familiar with the project, the new West Hall is located on Convention Center Drive. It is connected to what was our legacy 3.2 million square foot campus via pedestrian bridge over Paradise Road. It ties in very nicely to our North Hall complex, kind of near the meeting room block, if you're at all familiar with the North Hall. On the top left corner, you see what is kind of the southwestern corner of the building with the large architectural features, what we've called the gills, extending from the wall. Top right corner is the main entry of the facility. It's 4 lanes of traffic entering into a magnificent 116-foot tall atrium with a 10,000 square foot LED screen that you see peeking through the windows there. The daylight picture in the bottom left corner gives you a peek at what is called the West Station of the LVCC loop, and we're going to talk about the new innovative underground transportation system in a second. And the bottom right picture is of one of the flex rooms. And these are all meeting room spaces, divisible in part by air walls, but more importantly, separated from the primary atrium space and the main path of travel around that atrium by really innovative skyfold doors that go up into the ceiling, much like garage doors, and when open, allow the space to feel like it's part of the atrium experience. Here are some more photos on the top right. This photo is taken from what we call our north lobby. It's a secondary lobby that allows us to divide the 4-section exhibit hall so that we can host 2 separate groups in there. That north lobby being pretty spacious and having everything that a group would need for registration or all of those kind of ancillary functions, and being able to do it separately from whatever's being held, whatever's being done kind of in the south end of the building. Bottom right picture is the 600,000 square foot exhibit hall. The exhibit hall is unique for a whole variety of reasons. One of those reasons is it has 328,000 square feet of column-free exhibit space down the center of it, which makes it the largest column-free exhibit space in North America. All of the lighting throughout the building, but all of the lighting in particular here in the exhibit hall, is LED. It is all individually addressable, and at 100% gives 100 foot candles of power, of light at work height, at table height. Full catwalk system throughout the building, running both north and south and east and west. The building has in-floor utility boxes that carry power, data, and in many places drainage, reducing the number of sky drops we have to do for those utilities. That said, the skywalk or the catwalk also has full capacity, full capability for additional power, additional data, compressed air, gas, water, anything that might be needed to service a show. Bottom left-hand corner, you see that 10,000 square foot LED screen in the main atrium lobby. The screen was done for us by Samsung. It's 2,822 individual panels. It does indeed have 2 cutouts, and you see those cutouts above and below the word welcome in that photograph. And those cutouts were intentional. They're there to provide natural light to those flex rooms that I referenced earlier. So behind those, small, well, not small, but a corridor, and then the flex space, which opens up into that corridor and takes advantage of all that magnificent light. On the top left corner, you begin to see a look at the meeting room block. The building is shaped a bit like a V, with the exhibit hall closest to Convention Center Drive and the meeting room block more on a parallel to Las Vegas Boulevard, if you will. 80 meeting rooms, 150,000 square feet of space, lots of technology, individual Crestron panels in each meeting room, allowing the person using the meeting room to have full control of lighting, temperature. There are call buttons there for convention services managers, etc. Each meeting room has its own digital screen in front of it that can be tied to whatever else is playing on the rest of the digital assets throughout the building, or can be individually programmed to show meeting room schedules. Some of the fun facts, as I said, about 600,000 square feet across the hall, roughly divided equally around through the 4 sections. I mentioned the 328,000 square feet of column-free space. Good ceiling height here, 42 feet 11 inches to the bottom of steel. Great rigging capacity, not just in the exhibit hall, but throughout the building. The exhibit hall carries 4,000 pound points, and there are some 2,000 points mixed in there. Throughout the rest of the building, we have 2,000 pound points for rigging in meeting rooms, the atrium lobby, and a couple of the other lobby spaces, which is unique to us. If you're at all familiar with our legacy campus, our north, central, and south halls, we do not have rigging capability in the public spaces or meeting rooms. So this was a big add. I mentioned the utility floor boxes, about 300 of them in the exhibit hall. This is a back of house dream, 41 loading dock stalls, dedicated dock restrooms for labor. It's got this monster, what we call elephant door, that is about 60 feet tall and 30 feet wide, and it allows for just about anything we want to bring in there to come in without a whole lot of problem. I mentioned the meeting rooms. They are on 3 levels, which is kind of fun and unique to us. We have 2 levels here in the existing facility. The meeting rooms also carry the floor boxes. I mentioned the wayfinding technology and the digital screens. The other thing is we have 4 meeting rooms that overlook the exhibit hall. They have glass walls, and one of them currently has windows, or doors, I should say, that slide open, allowing for instance, show management to be interviewed and not have any glare coming from the glass during that interview. These are the flex rooms I referred to. They grow to about 19,000 square feet. And we have already gotten a lot of positive feedback from meeting planners on the flexibility that these rooms offer in terms of programming. Given the in-floor utility boxes and the rigging capability, we have some show organizers that are planning to use these for additional exhibit space. Talked about the lobbies. We've got our primary atrium lobby, which is pretty big, almost 35,000 square foot space with 116 foot ceilings. We do have the floor boxes here and the rigging. In the southwest lobby, we do not have rigging, and we have a much smaller ceiling height. The north lobby, which is the lobby I referred to, which provides us the ability to kind of divide the hall in half if we need to for 2 separate groups. Pretty big, almost 12,000 square feet. It does have the elevated ceiling height of 40 feet, lots of rigging capability, and the in-floor power and data. Unique to this building as well, we have a 3rd floor terrace that's about 15,000 square feet, and we have already used it for receptions, and it's pretty darn cool to look out to the south and see the Strip, and look out to the west and see Resorts World looming over you, or look back to the east and see the existing campus. So tying this all together, underground is the Las Vegas Convention Center loop. And this has gotten a lot of press, so I suspect you've heard about it. We partnered with Elon Musk's Boring Company. We went out to an RFP as we were expanding the campus. We immediately recognized that to walk from the far east corner of the South Hall to the far west corner of the West Hall, if you were attending a full facility show, you were in for a 25-minute walk which would have felt like days in the middle of August in Las Vegas. And it would have been about 1.25 miles. We went out, did an RFP. We entertained solutions from everybody that wanted to do a ski type gondola from one corner of our campus to another, to elevated fixed rail systems, to elevated roadways. But the most unique and most scalable and least costly and least disruptive solution was the underground boring company solution. So before I talk about it, let me let you experience it. Those were not renderings. That is the real deal. What we did, what the boring company did, was they bored twin tunnels, each of which is about 0.8 miles long. They started at what you see here on the chart as the South Station, which is on that, again, far east end of our South Hall, in what used to be our red lot, if you have worked here before. Went under Desert Inn, which is no small feat, given, again, you may know the way it dips below surface at that point. Went under Central Station, or excuse me, went under Desert Inn, went under the Central Hall, created a large subterranean station in the middle, which services Central and North Halls, continued on to the new West Hall and the far west end of it, and surfaced again. So there are two ground level stations, South Station, West Station, and that Central Station, as I said, is subterranean, 42 feet under the ground, in a very cool space. And here are a few additional photos. The top left corner being that Central Station in action as folks are getting in and out of cars. Top right corner shows a car going past our Las Vegas logo. The coloration, by the way, this Central Station, as well as the tunnels, are all serviced by multicolor LED light that can be programmed to most any color, or it can change as a car passes through it. It's pretty cool. The station in its entirety, this photo's in the bottom right corner, is taken from the escalators on the way down from the entry to the station, which is located just outside our Central Hall. On the far right side, you see a large, again, Samsung video screen. The video screen there is used for marketing, placemaking, sponsorship. In the far ground of this photo, you see another video screen on a white wall. That is a wayfinding video screen, and provides directions for folks who are in the station, which cars to get into, depending on their destinations. And then in the bottom left corner, you see one of the surface stations. This is at the South Hall, that red lot that I referred to earlier. The cars emerge from the tunnel, come up, pull into a spot, discharge passengers, pick up new passengers, and then go into the second tunnel onto the next destination. The system is designed to be both point-to-point and express, so you can get in at the South Station and go all the way to the West Station, passing in one of the through lanes in that Central Station that's depicted in the bottom right corner. Or you can get in and go directly to Central, or go directly from the West to Central. So it's designed with maximum flexibility. It is designed to carry 4,400 passengers per hour. And we have recently tested that, and actually the system performed a little bit better than its design. So we're very happy with its capabilities and its capacity, and the uniqueness and the way it differentiates our campus maybe from some of our other competitors. The other thing we're excited about is it also has the capability to extend beyond our campus. The Boring Company has been working both with the City of Las Vegas and Clark County to look at expanding the system from our campus, heading north up into Las Vegas, so the Fremont Street area with a couple of stops, heading south along the resort corridor, Las Vegas Boulevard, with stops at almost every one of the hotel properties along the way, and then further down to McCarran Airport or off to the west to Raider Stadium, Allegiant Stadium. This is in the process of permitting. It is in the process of review by both the county and the city. Actually, the city has already granted permits. It could be that they start sooner on that northern route than they do on the rest of it. But this is a reality, and it's a reality that's a long time coming for a destination whose infrastructure, if you've ever been stuck in traffic going from the airport to your hotel on the Strip, you know what a godsend this will be when it is fully operational. And that's all I've got. Delighted to answer some questions. What else you want to know about?
Wow, that was a lot of stuff. That was really great. I have a quick question about the West Hall. What do you guys, I know like in the other halls, you guys stack like the empties and stuff outside. Like, is there a different system for taking care of the empties for the crates?
We have a huge backyard at the West Hall. And so we have designated space for empties and lots of it.
If you guys want to put stuff in the chat, or we could, how many people can it transport per hour?
It'll transport 4,400 people per hour. And that is picking up at all three destinations. You know, when we sized it, and by the way, the 4,400 people per hour is based on 62 cars in the twin tunnels and at the stations. And it was sized such that, you know, 4,400 people an hour is a lot of people, but if you've got 120,000 here with CES, it may not seem like it. It's designed to be an option. It's not designed to be the only way for folks to get around, but it's an option for folks who are in a hurry or don't want to walk or can't.
Brian, when I saw the endpoints and the destinations from the West Hall to the I guess corner of the South Hall, but I didn't. Did you say there's stops in between? Like you can get off at Central and go up?
There is one stop in between. That's correct. So the endpoints are both surface stations. The cars emerge from a tunnel, discharge, take passengers on, and go back into the tunnels. The central station is that station that I showed you with the colorful photos that is located in what was our silver lot. Well, what is our silver lot, but it's located 42 feet below the silver lot.
Gotcha.
Is there a cost to riding them?
There's not. So here on our campus, the LVCVA paid for the system. We paid the Boring Company to operate it on our behalf. And it is free for anybody who's here on our campus doing business. When it extends beyond our campus, there will be a minimal charge. One of the things the Boring Company has said, though, is their expectation is they want it to be a low-cost alternative because they want to encourage usage to get cars off the street. And as such, it's expected to be priced somewhere between bus fare and Uber fare.
Any other questions for Brian while we've got him?
I was curious for the West Hall, like what did you guys do for food?
Great question. So Centerplate is our concessionaire, and they were prior to the West Hall. They still are. And in the West Hall, we've got a food hall of sorts. There are a number of concepts. So there's a healthily focused grab and go with salads and lighter sandwiches and things. There's a local pizza operator, Metro Pizza, that operates in there. And then Centerplate did a great job developing 3 additional concepts, a burger concept, a chicken concept, and an Asian concept. What makes the concepts unique is they're using humanely raised proteins, all appellated. So it's Snake River Farms beef or Redbird chicken, or the pork that's on the Asian dishes is coming from a local producer. So there's a story behind it. It's exceptionally high quality for convention center food, and thus far has done a great job of meeting the needs. There's also a Dunkin' Donuts. We have Starbucks in the main complex, you may know. For our friends on the East Coast, we added a Dunkin' Donuts in the West Hall. It's been very popular.
Cool.
And also, I just have one more question. So, being that it didn't pop up, so now that the North Lot is gone, what's the parking like at the convention center now?
So with the West Hall, we added what we're calling the Diamond Lot. It's about 600 spaces, and it's also fully usable for outdoor exhibits. In fact, Barrett Jackson did a little ride and drive thing out in it. So there's that space, and we are also still the owners of the space that used to be the Riviera. That was what started all this back in 2016. We bought that land and demolished the Riviera. The land is for sale. However, it represents about 10 acres that we've striped for parking, and we're also using that for exhibits. So for instance, when SEMA comes through in late October, early November, they will have outdoor exhibits in both the Diamond Lot and the Riviera Lot, making best use of it. So we've reduced a few spots if you take the Riviera lot out, but with the Riv there, it's we're about the same as we were previously.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have any more questions for Brian?
Can't wait to see it in person.
Yeah.
Can't wait
Likewise.
for you to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
I am.
I saw part of it go up, and I was duly impressed. So,
well, you are always welcome. I love giving tours, so feel free to reach out if you find yourself in town. I'd love to take you for a ride in a Tesla in the tunnel and
now we're talking.
show you around the West Hall.
yeah, definitely. I'll be there for NBAA. So,
all righty, perfect.
Well, thank you, Brian. This is great stuff. Seriously, like I don't know about everybody else, but I am not sick of hearing the positivity out there. So appreciate you coming on and the insight. So we're all excited.
Truly my pleasure. Thanks for all that you all do for the industry, and we'll look forward to seeing you here soon.
Cool.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian. Take care.
Have a good day.